Last hour, Noah, before you rolled in here, we were going through the 2025 preseason SEC media poll that came out after our show on Friday.
Saw this.
We did our voting. We allowed the listeners to weigh in, and we voted last week when I got back from Atlanta. Had to get that poll in by Thursday, or at least my picks for the poll. And the Longhorns fared very well. They have 11 players on the first, second, or third team, 5 on the first team, including Trey Wisner and DJ Campbell on the offensive line there. Also, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, and Michael Taft. Safe to say, preseason first-team All-SEC tells you that's why we think the Longhorns have a chance to have the best defense in college football. When you have a first-team All-SEC player at every level, which all 3 of those guys could end up All-Americans in Colin Simmons, and that doesn't even take into account, Trey Owens and Manny Muhammad's the second team in the secondary. I mean, they're just stacked on the defensive side of the ball. But you have anchors and pillars like Michael Taft, Anthony Hill, and Colin Simmons coming off the edge.
Right.
And then you've got a big road grader offensive guard like DJ Campbell. And Trey Wisner is the first-team running back. He was the leading returning rusher. But I think he and C.J. Baxter are going to find to be a big-time running combination for the Texas Longhorns. Arch Manning picked to be the third-team quarterback.
Yeah, saw Lenore Sellers ended up number 1. We had him at, I believe, 3 or 2. On your list, you might have had him 2. I think you had Arch possibly at 3. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing, I had him at 3. Okay. I had Garrett Nussmeier 1, Lenore Sellers 2, and then I had Arch 3. I did have Trey Wisner as the number 1. I had Ryan Wingo as a second-team all-receiver, and he was that behind Ryan Williams at Alabama. And Alabama had 11 as well. So it's funny because Texas and Alabama, Texas and Alabama 11 and 11, yet Georgia was picked to finish second behind Texas. Yeah. Texas, Georgia, Alabama. But, one of the things when we were in Atlanta, everybody's mad at Greg Sankey because this is amazing. The conventional thought is, well, they padded the schedule for Texas early in their SEC run. And I'm just going, well, how does Greg Sankey, who has nothing to do with making the schedule, first and foremost, but how do you predict 2 and 3 years ahead who's going to be good and who's going to be bad in college football?
Right. Which
you have to do, right? They came up with this schedule years ago. It's 2024 schedule in 2025, but they built that schedule in 2022. And you knew who was going to be really good and who was going to be really bad. But at the same time, it is a fact. If you look at it, and again, just because it's the talking season, we don't know how the final standings are going to go. But if you look at the predicted finish rankings, 1 to 16, I said it at the end of last hour, but Texas plays only one of the top 5, and that's Georgia. In the predicted finish, they only play they play 4 in the top 10. Georgia 2, Florida is picked to finish 6th, A&M 8th, and Oklahoma 10th. But they play all the bottom 4: Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Compare that to, and you know where you hear it the most from, Oklahoma fans are really mad. Oh yeah, Oklahoma fans are big mad because factually, but whether Greg Sankey and the conference did this on purpose or not. Oklahoma will play 4 of the top 5, whereas Texas only plays 1, and that's Georgia. Oklahoma plays Texas, Alabama, LSU, and South Carolina.
For reference here, just look this up. Kentucky and Mississippi State both had winning records. Mississippi State had 9 wins. I mean, sadly, this was, now we know about
the Bulldogs did?
The Bulldogs did in 2022 when this was scheduled, right? Yeah. That's my point. I mean, Mike Leach was still around. God bless.
Yeah, Kentucky was a really good team in 2022.
Exactly. That's my point. They weren't a 2-3 win team, and even Kentucky had a winning record.
Arkansas was 9 wins with Sam Pittman early on, and now they've
7 wins in that year specifically.
Yeah, you could have said Vanderbilt's not going to be good, but Mississippi State was a good team. Mike Leach passes away.
Worst team on their schedule, hypothetically, would have been a tie for Vanderbilt and 5-7 A&M.
And I understand Oklahoma fans being bummed. I mean, it's like you're playing 4 of the top 5. I mean, you have a brutal schedule again. And now Oklahoma if they're Oklahoma, should be up there in that top 5, but they're not. They're picked to finish 10th, which, that's not where Oklahoma really belongs. But it's a factor of their where they sit right now with Brett Venables and where Steve Sarkisian got his team ready to be SEC ready. Oklahoma picked the wrong coach, it feels like to me, and Brett Venables.
We'll see.
And their middle of the pack team or below.
Right.
They think they're going to be improved, but that schedule makes that really difficult. As you missed it last week, maybe you were tuned out or on vacation while we were at SEC Media Days, but our man Tyler McComas, our Oklahoma insider, said the conversation about bringing Brett Venables back for another year starts at 8-4. So they got to win 8 games. And remember, in addition to playing 4 of the top 5 in the predicted finish of the SEC, they play with Michigan as well on their schedule, and that Alabama game is on the road. The Texas game is neutral. Georgia's got Oklahoma's got a very, very tough schedule. But
buyout becomes $17.4 million in the year 2026.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so here we
For
are.
Brad Venables.
So we do go college football because we can talk about the SEC, but also we're 40 days to the start of the college football season. But tomorrow, the Big Ten and the ACC meetings open and media days. So Big Ten will be in Vegas. What is it? Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon seen as the top playoff contenders in that conference
that'd
right
be
now.
my 1, 2, and 3. Yeah,
I would put Penn State ahead of Ohio State actually right now, because they have a returning quarterback in Drew Aller. But Ohio State's the defending national champs. Oregon, they're trying to decide between their quarterbacks, Dante Moore and Austin Novosad. Austin Novosad, of course, from Dripping Springs, Texas. I would point out that Oregon's not taking a quarterback to media days. So they have not decided on who their quarterback is. I know the national media, the magazines are out and they say Dante Moore.
Sure.
I still think there's a competition there.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, tomorrow on the show, we're going to talk to Austin Novosad.
Oh, there we go.
He'll be with us in the 8 o'clock hour. And Austin, because Dan Lanning is not taking a quarterback to ACC.
It speaks
Big Ten
volumes
media
of that
days.
situation.
Also, they'll have the ACC Media Days. That'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina simultaneously. Bill Belichick will be a featured attraction. Is he bringing what's her name? Will she be there?
Jordan.
Will there be a Jordan
We haven't
appearance?
said her in a few weeks.
Oh,
Jordan.
man. It's been a
Hudson.
minute.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt she shows up in Charlotte. Maybe.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. We know that Dabo Swinney and Kate Klubnik will be there. ACC, the favorites are Clemson this year with North Carolina. We'll get a lot of headlines.
Will Carson Beck be in attendance for the U?
Well, and that's a story I had to get to.
Okay.
All right. There's stories, and then there's this story on a Good, Bad, and Ugly Monday. Did you know that? Did you guys see this over the weekend? So who's the biggest booster at because we know like at Oregon, the big money booster is Phil Knight.
Right.
Texas just has a bunch of oil billionaires and, Texas billionaires. Miami has a guy named John Ruiz, the billionaire.
Right. I think I saw what you're talking about, yeah.
And so apparently last week and into the weekend, he donated a gift to both Haley and Hannah Cavinder. You know the Cavinder twins?
Yeah.
And that gift, breast implants.
Right.
He gifted them because apparently they were a little bit flat-chested. I don't know. I don't know the Cavinders are. But Ruiz presented the gifts, but here's what it says here. And is this like fake news? Is this real? He did it to convince Hannah Cavinder to get back together with Hurricanes quarterback Carson Beck, who they're paying a reported $6 million this year to be their starting quarterback. You remember him, the former Georgia quarterback?
I do remember him.
Ruiz states that Beck wasn't himself after the breakup, and they had to get him back on track. So with the couple back together, it's his investment here. I need my quarterback to be in a good place. So what do you need to get back together with Carson? Boobs.
That's, yeah.
And for my sister.
Right. That's going to.
Because we're twins.
Yeah, this is going to work out well.
Yeah. This is going great.
The twins getting new twins?
Yeah.
Jeez.
No report on what the cups were. But yeah, I've got a video right here of them getting wheeled into the surgery center.
I've seen this. I don't know how much. This could be one of those things where is it real? How real is it? I don't know. Wouldn't be shocked. I'll just say that.
In this day and age, and with Miami, that wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
Hey, we got to get Carson Beck back in a good place. He's our core. I'm assuming.
I feel like they got enough money themselves, to do this operation.
It's a gift. It's a gift. And they were like tweeting out. They do all the influencer stuff. They're like, oh, no more flat chests for us. All this other stuff. Whatever. Just so you know that.
Welcome to Miami.
And I'm assuming starting tomorrow, Carson, I don't know when Miami's day is at the ACC Media Days, but Carson Beck will be there. And I'm assuming he'll get asked about assorted things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what he's getting asked about. And then there's Gunnar Stockton now, the quarterback of Georgia, who's talking about he wants cows for Christmas.
Hey, listen, people. I'm not making that story up. You couldn't make that story up, could you?
Well, it might be made up, but it is definitely surfacing. And it could be real.
No. I'm looking at this video here. They're getting wheeled into a surgery center.
I saw the
and
video.
And they're they got their little caps on, and there they go.
It seems too ridiculous.
It seems too ridiculous. But it's college football in 2025. Here we are. Too much. All right. I wanted to play a little bit of Coach Sark here because here's what we had. We had the going down in San Antonio. I don't know if you know about this, Noah, but they have the Texas High School Coaches Convention.
Yes.
18,000 coaches gathered.
Crazy.
18,000. We heard Sark earlier talking about, the job of Brandon Harris that he's doing as general manager in this new world order of college football. But also wanted to get you a little Sark talking about recruiting in Texas, and listen to this. You're talking to high school coaches in Texas, and then this is exactly what they want to hear in this environment. Know your audience. That's one of the first rules to get in front of a microphone. But here's Sark talking about what he's proud of as far as the recruiting in the state of Texas, because they just had 3 more commitments this past weekend. One's from Georgia, 2 from Florida, right? And they're a national recruiting program, but they never want to ignore Texas. Here's Sark down in the Alamo City yesterday. We got this, Jack. We got our gizmo. Let's get it.
We've had 23 draft picks the last 2 years, which is the most in the country. And we had 11 2 years ago and 12 this year. Of those 23 players drafted, 19 of those players are from the state of Texas. We had 9 2 years ago get drafted from the state of Texas, and we had 10 this year get drafted from the state of Texas. So this is vitally important for us and our ability to recruit our state. But like anything, I think one of the challenges is where do you draw the line, the fine line of we have to make sure that we're recruiting a roster that can compete for national championships. But at the same token, make sure that we're continually recruiting the best players in the state of Texas, and we don't get to sign them all. And there's a lot of really good schools in our own state, and I've touched on this numerous times. I think as much as people view us and maybe some other schools in our state for recruiting out of the state, I think a lot of schools are recruiting in our state as well, and a lot of players are a lot more apt to leave the state. And it's going to be something I talk about here today that I think we all. And I'm going to praise all the programs because really what Coach Elko is doing at A&M, what Rhett has been doing at SMU, the commitment, obviously, what Joey is doing at Tech, what Dave Aranda has been doing at Baylor, the track record of Willie, of the success he's had. Houston's going to get going. There's so many great programs in our state. I don't know that kids need to leave, but I do think that kids need guidance of why they should stay, and there's a lot of advantages to that, which I won't get into. But our boat's not different than most. At the end of the day, our job is to recruit the best roster that we can, of the character of kids with the talent that they have that put us in a really good position to compete.
All right, so there's Sark. And that's an interesting point. Of the 23 players drafted, 19 were Texans, so they don't ignore Texas, but
no need to.
It is more and more difficult for because, as he said, everybody comes into Texas to try to recruit and get players and take players, and that's the way that goes.
Yeah,
but,
when you think of high school football, Texas comes to mind right away.
Oh, there's like 400 Division I players each year in the state. And so everybody's in Texas. That's one of the reasons Texas State has now joined the
Pac-12.
redesigned Pac-12, because they want, because those other 7 schools want Texas State. They want to come play games in Texas, recruit in Texas to pluck out some of this great talent. And coming up later in the show, we'll hear from G.J. Kinney. He was down at the coaches convention. His first public comment since the announcement that I've seen of their move into the Pac-12 and what that means, big picture. And as we talked with last Friday, we talked to the athletics director at Texas State, Don Coryell. And we reminded before Texas State next year, when they join the new conference, before they play their first Pac-12 game, they'll play the Texas Longhorns for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Next year.
Pretty cool.
Early September. It's the first game for both teams.
I did not know that was the first time.
Yeah.
That was news to me.
Well, because
how fresh they are to Division I football. Let's call it how it is.
They've not been playing football at this level for very long. No, Texas has never played Texas State, as far as I know, or Southwest Texas State.
Right.
But they will next year to start the year. And then they'll join the Pac-12, which is pretty cool for both schools and the Central Texas area.